Hello, English teachers! Are you ready to power up your English classroom? Here are some tips for you to put to action your growing understanding of reflective teaching. Remember, reflection ought to be an important part of our teaching practice. Reflection has a role throughout our lesson planning and teaching. It also has a specific role after the planning and teaching stages and before the adjusting stage. Today, we want to go deeper into the reflecting stage. Through regular practice of reflective teaching, we become lifelong learners who are striving to improve our teaching. We think about why we make the decisions we do, but we also reflect on the results and how our students responded to our activities and lessons. We can see that reflective teaching can lead to an increase in our students' achievement. So, let's continue to think more about what reflective teaching is. Activating our reflective teaching means that we think deeply about what happened during a lesson, what went well, and what may not have turned out as you had thought. And then, using this thinking, try to improve it. Teachers think about how the lesson was taught and how our students responded to our teaching. The key questions we can ask ourselves as a reflective teacher are: were the desired learning goals of the lesson met? Why or why not? What worked well in this lesson? What didn't, and why? Did learners act as expected? Why or why not? Did all the students participate actively? When? How can this lesson be improved to provide opportunities for better learning? The theoretical foundations we stand on regarding reflective teaching are these. Make note of how we are teaching during a lesson. Think deeper about the events that unfolded in the day's lesson after we finished teaching. And consider what can be done to improve the lesson as we look to the future. Basically, we are reflecting during, after, and into the future. One of the ways to practice reflective teaching is by keeping a reflective journal. I am going to do some think alouds now by asking a series of questions that you might use during your reflective journaling. These reflective questions are comprehensive from the start to finish of your teaching session and goes beyond your lesson planning. First, let's begin with questions I can ask when I consider the learning objectives. Did students understand the lesson? How did I measure or determine this? Were the basic objectives met? How do I know this? Was anything too fast or slow? Easy or difficult? Is there anything I would do differently next time in preparation? What will I plan for the next set of objectives? Next, how about the activities and materials I used? What materials and activities did we use? Which were effective, ineffective? Why? How much English did the students use, and in what ways? What percentage of the time did I talk and use English? Did they talk and use English? Did the activities and materials interest students and keep them engaged? Which ones did they enjoy most? Least? Were there any surprises in today's class? If yes, how did they affect the lesson? Was there enough variation in types of activities and materials? Were there other activities or materials I could have used? What about future lessons as a continuation of this lesson? Another category that is very critical to reflect on is my classroom management practice during the lesson? Did students stay on task? Were my instructions clear? Was I able to address individual students' academic and behavioral needs? Were the transitions between activities and classes smooth? Are there changes I would like to make in this area? Did I provide opportunities for all students to participate? Overall, a question you can ask after each and every time you teach is, if I teach the lesson again, what will I do that is the same, and what will I do differently? You might be asking, do I have to do this for every lesson? Ask all of these questions and write down in a journal? Even though that may be ideal to start with, the answer is no. You can choose a few questions to ask depending on what you want to or need to work on. You might start with just reflecting on lesson objectives. If you are struggling with classroom management, then this is the area you work on until you see improvement. The choice is yours. Reflective practice can become an effective professional learning routine if you practice with consistency. Try and make it work for you. Thanks for watching and learning. Now let's go do it.